But candidates, it's good to speak out now so that they'll remember you and they may ask for this recording. Say, hey, remember that person? So please introduce yourself before we hand it over to the
Yeah.
host.
Yeah. If anyone
Sure.
else wants to go.
I'll go ahead. My name is Garrett Jackson. I'm a recent graduate of now biological engineering, as well as my master's in biological engineering. I don't have a background in lasers, and I'm actually interested in sales and otherwise business positions, as opposed to engineering positions and opportunities at these companies. But it's an interesting field. I'm just getting introduced to it. David's told me a little bit about it so far, and we'll see what I can learn today.
Welcome, Garrett.
Welcome. Garrett, a few years ago, I was reading a magazine and they were saying maybe 10% or 7%, somewhere there, of the people in lasers and photonics actually have degrees in that space. So, so everybody's coming in from another space and kind of teach themselves as they go. So feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you're out of place.
Yeah, we all start in the same spot, not knowing anything about lasers, right? It takes the interest to get here. So
right. So you're in the right place. Okay. Great. Anybody wants to do a quick informal and before we get formal, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Canfield. I have a bachelor's of science in mechatronic engineering from Chico State, along with minors in physics and computer engineering. Currently, I'm actually also getting the associate in laser technology from Dr. Sakuda right now. So that's been a lot of fun learning about lasers and all, and like how that applies to so many fields in terms of research. It's kind of amazing what everything can do. And so it's nice to meet you all.
Fantastic. Welcome aboard, Jennifer. Any other people who want to introduce themselves? Please go ahead, Deborah.
I'll go ahead. Can you hear me okay?
I do, absolutely.
Okay. So I have a little bit different story. I feel like lasers are in my DNA because when I was an undergrad, I couldn't decide between physics and chemistry, and that's right where lasers are. So I just love lasers. That's all about that. So when I was a physics major, so I ended up being a physics major because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in a chemistry lab, is what I decided. So and then one of my physics classes, my favorite class was an optics class, and so my first job out of college was after I got my bachelor's degree in physics, was working at Hughes Aircraft Company in their their physics group, or and we were building. I was a manufacturing of lasers for the military and a military application. We were building YAG lasers, laser target designators. So I love that job. But then I saw an opportunity at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. They were looking for someone with a PhD. I didn't have a PhD, but I thought, well, what the heck, I'll just apply. So I applied, and to my surprise, me and another guy, but they hired two of us. I've always sort of thought it was a joke that they hired two for the price of one. But I don't, I don't know the details of the finances. But anyway, so we got hired in, and we were in the optical communications group. They were looking at JPL is a real interesting place to work. They are a department of Caltech, but they are of course larger than Caltech, and so they're I can't think of the word, but they're within NASA. Their objective is for deep space planetary exploration. So we were sending spacecraft, as you know from the news feeds, you can see to outer planets, so Jupiter and Mars, more recently Mars. But at that time, they were looking at augmenting the RF link, the radio link, with an optical link. So it was a very exciting research group I was in. So, and then I left the field of engineering to stay home and be mom. So I did that for a few years. And then life happens and I had to go back and get a job. I wasn't really planning on going back, but as I said, life happens and you have to do these things. So I went up to San Francisco. So they always have this big laser conference up in San Francisco, Photonics West. Maybe you have heard of it. Anyway, so I went there and they had a job fair and I went to it and I had my resume and gave it to the recruiters and they said, you really need to update your background and take some classes. So I thought, well, okay, I can do that. So I live over in the Santa Cruz area in Scotts Valley. And then the university there, UCSC, well, actually, I should go back a little bit. When I was at JPL, since they value higher education, they sent me and this other guy that they had hired to graduate school. So we went, took class. They had a Center for Lasers at USC. So we took classes there, and I got my master's degree in EE there. And actually, I'm right now I'm in Los Angeles at a networking, they're having their homecoming football game this weekend. So yesterday they had a networking event for alumni and students. So I went to that. And anyway, I'm going to be heading back up to Northern California tomorrow. So anyway, let me think where I was here with my story. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. So they told me that I needed to go back to school and take some classes. So I went back. So I saw that UCSC had some classes, some laser classes in their EE department. So I applied there and to take some classes, and they admitted me or selected me or accepted me into the program, the graduate program. So I ended up taking classes there, and it was so much fun. I just loved it. At first I was terrified because I was thinking I was going to be in these classes with these undergrad students that had just finished, differential equations, and they were just had sharp math skills, and I was sort of a little rusty since I'd been out of school for a while. But I was able to keep up, and they all loved working with me, so it was really fun. And so I felt like a little kid in a candy shop. It was so much fun learning about all the lasers that had been invented or come up with since I was out of school. And just cut me off, Sydney, if you think I'm talking too long. But
No, that's fine.
So the funnest thing that happened was there was they're teal colored lasers, and I was like, oh my gosh, what kind of laser is that? I've never seen a teal colored. It was an LED that was teal colored, and I'd only seen red LEDs before that. And so I learned about the blue LEDs, as you all know. And actually, when I was a graduate student, the Nobel Prize was awarded for the blue LED, which had been invented, about 10 years ago, but there's about a 10-year lag between when something's invented and when the Nobel Prize is awarded for it. And then they also, when I was in graduate school, they also awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for some photonic work that I was actually doing some microscopy work in one of the labs there. So that was really fun. So anyway, so then after I got my second master's degree, and they gave me it was with an emphasis in photonics and neo or nanotechnology. So so I learned that was the new buzzword, was photonics, and it wasn't lasers anymore, it was photonics. And so yeah, so I have other stories to tell, but I won't go into all that. But anyway, so then after I graduated, I again tried to find a job, and I couldn't find a job. And so I ran across this laser technology program in San Jose City College, and I thought, well, that sounds like that might be somebody might know something about some jobs. So I talked to Sydney and said, hey, here's my background. What do you think? Do you think you have some ideas of what I can do to get a job? And so he said, yeah, take some of my classes. This will be great. And he said, this is what will happen. He goes, I think it'll be like reading a newspaper, taking my classes because of my background as in lasers. And he said, you'll gain some networking experience and you'll learn some new lab skills. So I said, okay, well, I'm up for that. So I started taking some of his classes, and he asked me to review some of his books. So I did that. And I just loved taking the classes. Again, it was just so much fun getting back into the field and learning all the new things. And it was true that I learned some new lab skills, because when I was up at UCSC taking classes, my professor the lab I was working in, he didn't have enough money to buy LabVIEW, so we had to program the lab equipment one step below LabVIEW and do it in C++. So then at City College, I got to use LabVIEW, and Sydney was able and had LabVIEW and was using it, and so I learned it. So that was really great. And then I got a job too, because one of the hiring managers at Coherent came to Sydney and said, hey, I need to hire some technicians. Can you help me out? And so he put out an email, and he made announcements in classes that they were looking to hire at Coherent some technicians. And so I was really looking for a job and needed to put food on the table. So I applied, and luckily they hired me. So that was great. So I was working as the technician there at Coherent, and they said when I first applied, they said, well, we hire our PhDs in Germany for 2 years as a technician, and then they get to be an engineer. So I was game for that. I said, well, okay, I can be a technician. That I'm good with that. And so after about 2 years of being an engineer there at Coherent, or a technician, excuse me, at Coherent, they promoted me. I applied to the engineering position and got promoted. So I worked as an engineer there for about 4.5 years. So I was at Coherent for about 6.5 years. So it was great. I enjoyed that. So my next adventure now is back in the job hunt, because Coherent was acquired by II-VI, and some of you may know that, and they retained the name Coherent. So they now are Coherent again, Coherent Corporation. They were Coherent Inc. before that. And they have made the corporate decision to transfer some of the business units overseas for financial reasons. But unfortunately, then I got cut and laid off. So now I'm out looking for another job. So that's my story.
Cool.
Welcome back, Deborah. Thanks for sharing your experience. And so I got two good news for you. The first good news is one of the recruiters who hired you is here today. And
okay, great.
And he has
Maureen.
He was with Maureen. Jerry's
Yes.
here.
Oh yeah,
Can you
yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Can
yes.
everyone hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. So
Okay,
maybe you should
perfect.
be next. And then I think
Oh,
that
Jerry is there.
decision
Okay,
to,
yeah, great.
and that decision I think has been revised. So Jerry, you want to go ahead real quick before we get started?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Apologies for being late. There was an upgrade in the software, but let me give everyone an update. So I've been with the Coherent Corp for almost a little bit over 9 years ago, and I'm primarily in recruiting. The goal is to hire good quality candidates, but at the same time, continue to brand the name Coherent. So like Deborah mentioned, probably 2 years ago, we recently were acquired by the organization 26. And unfortunately, with any kind of acquisition or mergers, there is, a pause in hiring. And like Deborah mentioned before, a lot of the business plans and the roadmaps for launching products, hardware in the US was going to be moved over to overseas. And I've been communicating with Dr. Sydney Sakuda for, I think, even since I started, probably 8, 9 years ago. And I attended one of his job fairs. I was engaged. He was a great ambassador. I met Deborah at one of the classes. I also met Vidya. Vidya's on the call as well. And unfortunately, 2 years ago, there was a pause. They were also thinking about moving the office in Santa Clara. They were going to close it and move everyone outside of the building. And as business continued, and this was all kind of during the pandemic, we weren't sure what's going to happen. Business slowed down, supply issues were a challenge. And this year, actually, we have great news. We are back. I reached out to Dr. Sidney, and he's a great ambassador. He always invites me, and this time I had good news for him that we are staying in Santa Clara, the main headquarters here in Santa Clara, California. We are going to continue to hire, not certain departments and groups. So right now, we probably have about 50 jobs that are available both inside California and then outside California. So when we do the breakout sessions, I will talk about some of the jobs that we have. We have everything from optics technicians to assembly, but it's just not in California. It's domestically throughout the United States. Um, I would say, for me, both personally and professionally, it's been an honor to represent Coherent because imagine, with the changes. We continue to have great technology. We continue to have great ambassadors like Dr. Seiji Sakuda. We also have great partnerships, and we continue to grow our technology, which is great. We recently increased our presence in aerospace and defense, for example. That's huge for Coherent. So as business continues to thrive, we are continuing to thrive in hiring again, slowly hiring, but at the same time, we are in the process of moving forward.
Super. So here's the good news. They're not going anywhere anymore. So they'll be in Santa Clara. So and I'm glad that they made that decision. So because it was and is a great company to work for. Okay, so we're doing informal introductions. And now I'm going to pass it on to our chair, and I'm going to put our agenda on here. So I know there's a lot of people who I would like to hear from, but I'm worried about the time. So let's get on with our schedule. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a delight to have you here. Our job fair, Lasers and Photonics free job fair. So we have employers from all over the country, from Florida to California, coast to coast, and we have candidates from all those spaces as well. Anyway, without further overdue, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. David Perino. He's going to be our host. David, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name's David Perino. I've already introduced myself, but that was when the lobby was pretty empty. So I'm with Stellarnet. I've been with this company for 12 years. We make spectrometers. I'll leave it at that for now. But just to go over the agenda for today, this event is hosted by the Sakuda Foundation. which Sydney is the head of. And the whole goal is to help promote education and opportunities in the photonics sector. So today, the plan is we're going to go through each company. Each company is going to do about 10-minute presentation covering what they do, what kind of opportunities you'd have at their companies. And then we're going to break out into, we'll have a little break. Then we'll break out into groups where each employer will have their own virtual room. You'll visit their room. You'll have the opportunity to ask them one-on-one questions. And the third phase that we'll go through is each employer will be keeping track of who attends their session and who interacts with them. And if you interact with every employer, you will be eligible for a free hour-long course, introductory laser course with Laser ProNet. So that in and of itself is very valuable to all of you because this is something that they teach at Photonics West, and they charge $500 for a course if you attend Photonics West. This is a portion of that course, but still, it's totally worth it. And then also one of the people who attends all of these sessions will be selected at random for a free vacation. So without
but as I mentioned earlier, my name's David Morrell. I'm the president at Astanza Laser. We are a laser company focused on the aesthetic laser space. So what does that mean? That means things like hair removal, tattoo removal, skin resurfacing. We sell and have clients coast to coast. So I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully it did it with the, yeah, it looks like it did. Of course, it did it on the other screen. So I'm going to be looking away from you guys. But so we've got clients coast to coast, and we primarily hire field service engineers for the installation and maintenance and any sorts of repairs that need to be done to our lasers in the field. So here's a little bit of our background. We started actually back in 2007 more as a training school focused on teaching practitioners how to do tattoo removal. But as the years progressed, we started selling lasers, and this slide doesn't have our newest update, but we actually acquired a laser service company on the West Coast in the last 60 days to continue to build and grow our engineering team. We have clients that span a broad range of folks, anywhere from med spas to doctors' offices to entrepreneurs. We also work with a number of nonprofits and government organizations, which is some of the best part of what we do. We work with nonprofits who help formerly incarcerated and formerly gang-involved individuals remove tattoos that are hindrances to employment and such. And actually, our engineers get to interact quite a bit with our nonprofit clients and get to see some of the impacts that they're having, on a day-to-day basis in their communities. And then also with some governmental organizations, both from the VA and military side, but also with a few correctional facilities that have integrated tattoo removal. So our purpose is changing lives. That's what it's our mantra. It's why we get up and get excited about coming to work every day. We want to work tirelessly on changing the lives of our employees, also our clients. And through our clients, we know we can have an exponential impact on changing the lives of thousands of people around the world and around the country and the communities that our clients serve. These are a couple of our tattoo removal lasers. All four of these are solid state lasers, all used for slightly different things, but the Eternity TSR is a ruby laser at 694 nanometer wavelength. The duality signature is our Indy YAG. The Trinity is just a combination of those two lasers in one box. And then our newest laser is a picosecond laser called the PicoStar, and it is also an Indy YAG laser. Outside of tattoo removal, we have the MeteoStar, which is a diode laser for hair removal. The QuadraStar Pro Yellow is a yellow light laser used primarily for vascular applications. And then the Dermablade is an Erbium YAG ablative laser. So thinking about opportunities within our company, like I said, primarily field service engineers is what we hire for folks that have a background in engineering and photonics. We have both entry level, fresh out of school positions, and then more advanced positions for folks with experience. I think I've probably covered most of that, but you're going to interact with our clients, which are physicians, other healthcare practitioners, entrepreneurs. You get to do that on a daily basis. In addition to maintenance, we also have quality inspections here in our office before lasers go out to clients. And from a geographical perspective, a lot of our engineering team is based here in Dallas at our headquarters, but we're actively recruiting for an engineer in the Northeast. And also, I expect to have a position on the West Coast over the next few months. So it's definitely a travel-based position, up to 75% travel. A lot of people see that as a great way to see this all over the United States. We have a little competition to see how many states people have visited. I think Jordan, who is our director of field service, is at 46 states, which is exciting. He loves getting out and seeing things. He was in the Dakotas earlier this week or last week and got to see Mount Rushmore, which was fun. So a little bit of fun on the side. Our training is pretty extensive for new engineers. So you get clinical training in addition to how to work on the lasers, which we think is a little bit unique and definitely a benefit. Our training program consists of about 5 weeks training on our core platforms in the office, and then 3 weeks shadowing another engineer in the field, and then ongoing training. We do monthly trainings with the whole team to continue to build our knowledge and share new ideas and new techniques. There's a quick slide on kind of some of the benefits. We offer, what we try and offer is a full package of benefits that would be comparable to a company much larger than our size. And this is just a couple of pictures of the team, and one of the awards that we've won is a great place to work. So I think that wraps up my presentation.
The organization's been in existence for 50 plus years. We recently mentioned earlier about being acquired by the company 26. We are now a $5 billion company. We are expanding both domestically and internationally. Last year, for example, since we migrated with the two companies, I had the opportunity to travel to the Philippines to showcase recruiting best practices, show them how to use our new Oracle database. And along with the Philippines, I was able to train other international companies as well within Coherent: Korea, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. And it was a great opportunity for us to share what we do here domestically in the US. With our current jobs, I mentioned earlier as well during the introduction, we have probably about 50 plus openings. The jobs that I'm going to be featuring right now are everywhere from the West Coast to the East Coast for technician jobs, assembly, optics, photonics. We continue to thrive under the direction of our new leadership. But at the same time, in addition to this, we are expanding into aerospace and defense. Both Vidya and Deborah have been instrumental in working at Coherent. Unfortunately, with the changes during the pandemic and during the changes with the budget structure, those groups were eliminated, but we continue to hire for other groups that are here domestically in the US. Dr. Sydney Sakuda, were you able to pull up that video? Thank you.
No problem.
Light. Light is an amazing thing. It's both a particle and a wave, but when it's laser light, it's coherent. Coherent has a history almost as long as the laser itself. We created our first laser system in a Palo Alto laundry room in 1966. But you know where you'll find us today? That smartphone or tablet that you can't seem to put down, you'll find laser technology being used to create it. Our line beam annealing systems are enabling today's next generation of even higher resolution devices. Likewise, the chips inside your smart devices have been touched by several generations of our lasers, from the production and testing of photomasks to the yield management of the patterned wafers. You'll also find our lasers being used to restore and correct people's vision, as well as making that trip to the dentist as comfortable as possible. An important life-saving research, our technology is enabling fine-tuned cancer diagnosis and other protocols that are transforming precision medicine. You'll find our lasers advancing scientific exploration in the brain. Here, researchers are using our technology to discern the wiring of neurons, allowing them to unravel the brain's mysteries. Electric vehicles? We're there too. Our systems empower the manufacturer of the lithium-ion batteries that are revolutionizing the transportation industry. In the laboratories, where researchers strive to understand the invisible and complicated world of chemical reactions, our cutting-edge ultra-fast amplifiers are part of a toolkit which breaks down dynamic atomic relationships on an unimaginably short timescale. What started with a single laser has grown into a family of hundreds of products and a complete line of instrumentation to measure and characterize laser light of all kinds. Many smaller laser companies specialize in just one area, but because we are experts in so many different laser technologies, Coherent enables a broader range of uses than anyone else. Manufacturers around the world are leveraging our superior reliability and performance into greener and more precise processing of materials. And they're producing quality products with speeds unheard of just a few years ago. As with so many of the things in today's accelerated world, downtime is not an option. From design, development, manufacturing, and qualification, each product is engineered to deliver industrial strength reliability. For 50 years, our customers have relied on Coherent for superior reliability and performance. With a global workforce of more than 2,500, we deliver lasers and photonic solutions that enable customer success, whether that's lowest cost of operation, highest resolution, or highest throughput. We're proud of our achievements and our role in defining photonics as a technology without limits.
Thank you, Dr. Tsukuda. So that gives you a quick overview. Thank you very much for sharing that. That gives you an overview who Coherent is. And again, company continues to, we have the green light now to continue with hiring for various positions. We have some positions here in Sunnyvale and Fremont. And also we do have some positions that are open in Santa Clara, but not as, I would say not in the technician space. Out of the 9 years that I worked with Dr. Tsukuda, he's been instrumental in hiring probably close to over 10 to 20 individuals from his class. His class has been very beneficial for giving students the foundation for lasers and photonics, and the training program that's also giving, and not just academically, but giving opportunity for students to gain industry experience as well. So I think for the most part, during the breakout session, I'm here to answer any questions, and then I'll go over some of the jobs that we have available. I also encourage Vidya and Deborah to join us to talk about their experience as well. And feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. Feel free to join the breakout sessions. But overall, that's a general overview of who Coherent is.
So that was Coherent. Up next, unless Applied Optics has arrived, we'll move on to FiberGuide.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Jablani Liwayo. Yeah, I'm in optical communications, and I've done this for more than 20 years. I've done a number of roles here, including research and development in fiber optics and photonics. So my role here is really try to get people excited about lasers in optical communications and show you what we do in terms of career development for people who want to get into the field. So that would be my agenda here. Just a little bit about FiberGuide here, and touch a little bit on lasers and how they're used in optical communications. Then we don't offer a lot of careers ourselves, but we work with companies that actually offer careers. So I will show you a sample of opportunities in some of these companies. Then I'll talk about our career development programs, the courses that we offer for people who are really trying to get into optical communications, and I'll summarize that. So again, FiberGuide is actually a career development company. We do consulting and training. We offer some certifications for the training. And actually, in fact, we work with a company called Optical Technology Training. They develop the content for this training. Then they license it to people around the world, to course providers around the world, and FiberGuide happens to be one of those partners. We have two training models. One is custom training or private training at companies. So they invite us to train their employees at their locations. So we are licensed to offer the training in North America, but sometimes under extraordinary circumstances, we also go to other places. We've been to places like South Africa, we've been to Australia, the UK, and also Middle East to do some of this training. Alternatively, we offer public classes. So we schedule some classes here in McLean, Virginia, that's very close to Washington, DC. So anybody that is interested in taking the course will actually come to Washington, DC to take the training. But it's like 70% of our training is private at company locations. Yes, so just to introduce here how lasers are used in optical communications. Here I have a very simple schematic here. On the left-hand side, you have a transmitter. And inside that transmitter, you have a laser source. So lasers from Coherent will be found in some of these applications as well. Then on the right side, we have a receiver that will actually receive the signal. And in between, that's the medium that will transmit that signal. And this is fiber optics. You have a pair of fiber, one for transmit and one for receive. So what happens in the transmitter is actually modulation of the signal. You have your digital signal in electrical form, and you actually modulate either the intensity of the laser or the phase of the laser or a combination of that, and then take that light that is modulated and then transmit it over the fiber over very long distance. Then when you get to the end, you demodulate it. You actually convert it back to electric so you can recover the signal that you started up with. Okay, so yeah, optical communication. So lasers have really changed the way we communicate because now you can transmit a lot of capacity over optical fibers. So the kind of capacity that you can put in just one pair of optical fiber can be more than all the capacity that you can get in all the satellites combined. So today, for example, we can do over 25 terabits per second of capacity in just one pair of fiber. And that is like 25,000 times faster than your 1 gig home internet. Then, of course, the other thing is this optical communication is very important for global connectivity. 90% of all global internet traffic is transmitted through undersea cables. So you can see that all the continents are actually connected by submarine fiber optic cable. So for transmission is one thing that you can do with lasers. We can use lasers also in a lot of photonic components that you can find in optical communications. For example, when you transmit light in fiber, it actually weakens, it is attenuated, so it gets weak at some point, to the point that after 200 kilometers in a fiber, you are losing like 40 decibels of the power that you start off with, or 99.99% of all that light is lost. So we need to do something in order to go longer distances. You know, from coast to coast, you can actually have fiber links. You can also imagine that there's a new submarine cable here that is called to Africa, that is connecting Africa and the rest of the world. And that will be, for example, Cape Town to North Cornwall. That's more than 12,000 kilometers. And you want a link that can achieve all that distance. So in order to do that, we use optical amplifiers. And one important thing in those optical amplifiers is a laser. There's a pump laser. So you have your signal that is coming from the left, is very weak. You combine it with this pump laser light, and you put it in a fiber that is doped with erbium. So the energy from the pump laser is actually transferred to the erbium ions, which are then excited to some higher level. And then when they fall back to the original level, they give out light, which is a replica of the weak signal that you had. So you actually end up doubling these photons, and this process goes over and over again. So in the end, you're actually making the signal stronger again. You amplify the signal, then you can transmit it. That's how you can send these signals over very, very long distances. Okay, so I'm going to mention a number of recent or current career opportunities here from different companies that people with skills in optical communications can have. This one is from Amazon Web Services, and this person will be responsible for deployment and scaling of their optical networks. Then another example here is this optical transport network engineer from Johns Hopkins. So their role really is to look after government networks and to make sure that it is scaling up. Yeah, another opportunity that requires a lot of skills in optical networking is this senior network engineer, optical design, and this is from Google. And then another opportunity from Sienna. Sienna actually makes the transmission equipment that telecommunication companies use. So in this role, they would expect you to actually work with their customers to look at what their requirements are and help them out with the right kind of equipment for the networks. This one is from Microsoft. Again, the person will be contributing in their different types of infrastructure. They will be having metropolitan networks. They have long-haul fiber networks, and even submarine circuits that they would want the candidate to work on. Yeah, so one key takeaway from these companies here, you find that quite a number of them here are what we call hyperscalers. These are people who come up with very huge data centers, and they want to connect those data centers together with very high capacity. So companies like Amazon, like Google and Microsoft actually have very high data centers, and lots of opportunities there for people with skills in optical communications. Okay, so these are the courses that we offer. We have a corner. This is an introductory course in optical networking, and it's really for people who are coming out of school. They don't have any experience at all, so we can start them with that. After that, once they get employment, they can actually learn specific vendor equipment. Then the CONE, C-O-N-E, or Certified Optical Network Engineer, is a very advanced course for people who have already passed the corner and are certified. So this one is actually, it actually uses coherent systems, not Coherent the company, but Coherent the technology. There's a coherent detection that they use for very advanced systems for 100 gigabits per second and over. Finally, there's a course for people who test networks, test engineers. So they also have to take a course so that they know how to use the equipment that is used for testing these networks. Yeah, so in summary, so the whole point is optical communications, which has been enabled by lasers, is actually evolving very quickly. A lot of lucrative opportunities in that space. And you can consider OTT, or optical technology training, optical courses that we offer if you really want to get into this space. And finally, I put together a video that a lot of people find very helpful. It actually says a guide to establishing your career as an optical network engineer. So if you came to school, maybe you have a chemistry, you have computer science, or any STEM subject, and you want to get into optical networking, you can go through this and see the steps that you can take to get there. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shabelani. Okay, so that was FiberGuide. We did just have someone join the chat, but they're listed as Zoom users, so I'm not sure if they're with Applied Optics or not. Let's just assume that they're not Applied Optics and move on to Sciton.
Because results matter. This is not just a tagline. It's integral to everything we do at Sciton. It's the results that your patients experience. It's the results our products can deliver to your practice. And it's the results that the craftsmanship and attention to detail we put into our products and services can mean to your satisfaction and bottom line. We work closely with you from the outset to understand your needs and then recommend the ideal laser to meet those needs. Each product is meticulously designed and built to order, assembled by hand, and rigorously tested until we're confident it will work as promised. It's then carefully packaged in custom-built crates to ensure it arrives at your door in the exact same condition it left ours. Once incorporated into your practice, you'll find that our products are unrivaled in form and function. Our handpieces are exquisitely designed to be ergonomic, efficient, and durable. Your staff will be empowered with the ability to effectively treat your patients, delivering results that live up to their expectations. Our commitment to you doesn't stop there. It continues with a host of educational resources, from white papers to clinical workshops to webinars, all intended to help you grow your practice. And we stand by every product. Our world-class service department makes sure your product works as well on day one as it does on day 1000. That's why nearly 95% of Sciton devices ever sold are still in use today. We're different by design. We invite you to experience the Sciton difference and become part of the Sciton family. You deserve better. You deserve Sciton because results matter.
Happy Friday and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to close this out and share my screen. So this is a little bit about Sciton. We were started in 1997 by our co-founder, Jim Hobart and Dr. Dan Negus. Now, an interesting fact, and I wonder if Jerry is aware of this, since he works at Coherent, Jim was very instrumental in establishing Coherent back in the 60s. He was there until 1996, and that's when he retired and started Sciton. So we're excited about that fact because I understand it, as Jerry just said, Coherent is still thriving. And that just brings us great joy. I don't know if you know this as well, but Jim was responsible for designing the first CO2 laser. So we have a deep footprint in the medical aesthetic industry. So we're proud of that. That's our story. And you can read a little bit more about us at our website. I'm going to put that in the chat just so everyone has that. And then as far as our career opportunities, you'll also be able to take a look at I want to say about 35 openings that we have right now. And this is going to span across marketing, but I know most of you are in this laser industry, so or laser background in education. So what you'll find is you do have several positions: manufacturing engineer. We also have R&D engineer. There's several positions that are not listed here, though. That
excuse me, Caroline, are you sharing or?
Here, let me share.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for that, Sydney.
Okay, no problem.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do now.
It's working now.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so here's our website. Let me move this out of the way. That always gets in the way. Okay, so here's where you will find our story, Sciton.com. You'll have an opportunity, again, to look at the positions, but more importantly, also for those that are interested, you'll have an opportunity to look at some of the products that we've marketed as well. And some of our history about our technology will also be listed here. You'll also get a chance to read some of the articles that have written about Sciton, L, In Style, Real Self. Sciton is now, I think we're on our 3rd year of being the top workplaces, and we're very proud of that. We maintain right now, 4.6 rating on Glassdoor out of 5, and that's very impressive. And this speaks a lot to how our employees feel about us, because you can talk all day about your company and how great it is, but how do your employees feel about working there? And so we're happy about our Glassdoor rating. Our employees come out here. We don't pay them, obviously, for this. And they're happy to work here. They're happy to engage the culture. And that's really our brand. We can talk about our products, but really our brand is our culture. A lot of companies say they put their customers first, but Sciton believes in strongly putting our people first, because if your people are happy and you take care of your people, they will take care of your customers, right? So you don't have to worry about that. So we invest a lot into our community, our culture, such as, individuals who may want to return to school, we'll assist them with tuition reimbursement, things of that nature. All of our employees get a stipend, if you would, to take career development courses, and that's $1,000 a year. And we're very much committed to your growth. So learning is actually one of our core values, continuous learning. So those that are interested in furthering their education, either through, Sydney's program or either other programs that are out there, we will assist you in your career journey. So that's something we're proud of. As far as the jobs are concerned, let me bring this up here because I do want to share this with you. We have several immediate openings that we're trying to fill. Now you will find that our R&D positions and engineering positions will be in the Bay Area. We have 5 available right now. One is a software position, QT QML software developer. We have a unique position for a transducer engineer. For that position, if you do know someone, even if they're out of town, out of state, at this point, we will assist with relocation because that has been a hard to fill position. And then the electrical engineer position, we're looking for someone 4 to 7 years of experience. Not necessarily a background in medical devices, but it does help if you do have that background. I heard someone on the call said they hire field service engineers. We do as well. Right now, we do have openings, as you can see here on the website, that are not in the Bay Area. Those are in other states. but we do have a need for technical support engineers. So you can go out to this website, which is at sciton.com/careers, and click on any of these jobs to find out a little bit more about it. As you may know, we are now federally required to post our salary range. So you will also find that information here as well, what the position pays, which we think is important. So for example, the electrical engineer you'll see here does require the experience here, 4 to 6 years or 4 to 7 years. We have it listed as 5 years, but I did talk to the hiring leader, and he's looking for someone with a little bit more, but we'll all may have less experience. The key thing here, though, is this specific area here for experience needed. We do look for someone to have that background. The pay for this position is $125 to $162K. I like to tell people that the salary is not written, and so if we do find a superstar that we just can't up, that salary will be negotiated. But again, these are where you'll find our, and you can click again to find the full details. We are proud to say our products are engineered and built in Silicon Valley. We don't outsource for any of our products. And so we're happy about that. Everything is built in-house. We are now, believe it or not, Sydney, we're up to 7 buildings on our campus, and they're all walkable. Yeah, so we are growing. At some point, Dan mentioned it would be nice if we just had one building where everybody could be housed. We're not there yet because we really haven't found that location. But I don't know if you've been by lately to see the big building on the corner of San Antonio there that we recently acquired. So Sciton is growing. We have not gone public yet, Sydney, but that is one thing that is on the table that we're still talking about and preparing for to take the company public. So while some companies in the Bay Area have been laying off and downsizing, Sciton is committed to growing and committed to expanding and not laying off. Even in those tough seasons, we find a way to keep excelling and to keep our people employed. And one thing about Sciton, and I like to share this because this really speaks to the heart of the company. Even when COVID was going on, and many, as I said, many companies were laying off, Sciton was so committed to not laying off anyone that many of our people took a pay cut just so we wouldn't have to lay off anyone. And it wasn't just senior leadership. There were people mid-level that even took a pay cut just so we wouldn't have to cut out any of our employers, any of our workforce. So you are coming into essentially a culture that really, really cares about people, and we prioritize people over profits. And we're proud of that because you can focus on income all day long, but we think that when you focus on people, there's just so much good fortune that comes back to you in so many different ways. So it's a wonderful company to engage, a wonderful place to work. And as I said, the proof of that is written all over the website here that you'll see the Glassdoor rating, what our employees say about us. And we regularly survey our employees to find out what are some things that we can do better. What's working for you? How do you feel about the CEO? So we do a lot of surveys. Some think that we do too many. But it's our way of really just keeping our employees engaged and speaking to their needs, because that's really what it's all about. It's not about what we need, but what do our employees need to thrive? What can we do to keep them happy? And on that note, I do also want to share that some of the benefits that you'll find, and you'll just see a snapshot on the website here. It doesn't have a lot of detail here, but this is the snapshot here. Again, we're committed to long-term learning. So again, we will invest in your education. We have a very robust medical benefits plan. We have a 401k with a company match, which is attractive. At one point, we didn't have a match, but we're happy to say that we do have a match now. And paid vacation, we're looking at possibly moving to a unlimited program. We're not there yet, but those are just some of the things that we're talking about. We do have what's called an innovation award. So for example, if an employee comes up with an idea on how we can market our products, or even if they come up with an idea for a new product and we're able to take it to market, we invest in that idea. And we also reward the employee with 10,000 shares into the company. So again, just our way of really pouring into our employees and keeping them engaged. Stock options is another benefit here. Profit sharing, we're always happy to see those profit sharing checks. Of course, it's never guaranteed, and it's also contingent on the company's performance. But I know that there are a lot of companies that are not doing profit sharing. applicants that I talk to tell me, you know, they don't have a profit sharing program, but Sciton is committed to that. I think we're up to 20 quarters now where we have not missed awarding our companies and sharing those profits with our employees, and we're very happy about that. We also reward our employees with a referral bonus. I know firsthand that there are some companies, when you do refer friends to their company, all you're going to get is a thank you. Well, Sciton is going to pay you for your referral. If you recommend a friend that we're able to hire, we're going to reward you for that. There's just so many different ways that we recognize our company. We have a peer-to-peer recognition where our people can recognize each other, you know, certain, not my level, obviously, but if you recognize that your peer is doing outstanding work, recognize that person. And these are things that we encourage from the inside out, again, just to make sure that the culture is solid, to make sure our employees are happy and feel, you know, valued and that they belong. So you'll find a very diverse community here at Sciton. That is one of the things that we're committed to, because we really do believe that great ideas can come from anywhere. You know, although 30% of our engineers have PhDs, we are moving toward hiring individuals who don't even have a degree. And I know that Google is adopting that as well, because there are some positions that individuals can do that don't require a degree as long as they have that background. For example, assemblers. They may not have a degree, but perhaps they've been doing the work in the area of putting medical devices together. And so we will hire individuals who don't have a medical degree, but for those higher level technical positions, yes, we do require a degree for those. As far as charity, we're proud to say that we do have our footprint in the community that we serve through our annual toy drive. We give back. Sciton is committed to giving back to the community and really serving the community, and also serving our people and serving our providers, the plastic surgeons that we work with, the med spas, and things of that nature. So it's a great company to work at, and I'm not saying that just because I work there, but there's so many people who are really taking their careers to new heights by coming to Sciton. Again, we will invest in your learning, and we are committed to that. So when you have a moment, if you would, just take a look at what's open here. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'll put my information out here as well as a link to the jobs, and you can learn more there and also apply to these positions. We'll respond very quickly to get the interview process started. And on that note, I'm going to also add one more thing here. We have a lot of events at Sciton, inside the company as well as outside, but a lot of our people are in Paris right now for a major event that we're having, just highlighting some of our new equipment that we've just launched. And we're excited about it. We're excited about the great things that are happening at Sciton. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available and happy to answer your questions. And I'll go ahead and put this information in the chat now, and I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. All right. So
you're very welcome.
I might be next because I don't think Applied Optics has arrived yet. Great. All right. So my name is David Perino. I'm with Stellarnet. We're a company that makes spectrometers, and not everybody knows what a spectrometer is. So let's just get straight to it. So spectroscopy is all around us. You just got to know where it all fits into things, right? There's so many possibilities, but it all pretty much starts with a rainbow. Whenever people ask my wife, what does your husband do? She says, he puts rainbows in little boxes, and it's very lucrative, you know? So rainbows can be found everywhere. If you take a compact disc and you bounce light off of it, you'll create a rainbow. If you pass light through a crystal, you might make a rainbow. If you hold up a garden hose to the light, rainbow, right? And there's just so many possibilities with rainbows. Who knew, right? So essentially, the classical description of this is you take a beam of white light, you pass it through a prism, you create a rainbow. And effectively what's happening is light of different wavelengths is going to pass through the material at different speeds, and they'll come out at different angles, kind of like cars going around a track, right? They might all be going the same speed of light, but they might pass through the material a little bit differently, right? So Stellarnet takes a line of pixels, just like you'd have in a camera. But instead of a grid of pixels, we take a line of them and we focus a rainbow using order sorting optics. We create the rainbow and we focus it to the line of pixel, and each pixel gets assigned a wavelength, right? And then we end up with a graph. And that graph can be used to determine all kinds of, solutions to problems. So what I like to tell people is light interacts with all matter, and we quantify that interaction. And if you ask about dark matter, don't ask. Well, that's not our field. So you can absorb light into things. You can bounce light off of things. You can pass light through things. You can even collect light coming out of things like lasers and light bulbs. So spectrometers are found in literally every industry. You can name an industry, and I could be like the grandfather from Big Fat Greek Wedding, and I could tell you, oh, this is the root of how spectroscopy came from this industry. So at the end of the day, we are in every field, and what Stellarnet does is our job is to know how we interact with these different applications in different companies. So I've got a list here: oil and gas, textiles, manufacturing, there's medical, there's chemistry. You can read it, but I'm going to move on because I only have so much time. So some basic offerings that we typically focus on are color, radiometry, which is quantification of light, absorbance chemistry, so passing light through liquids, fluorescence, which is exciting a liquid with something monochromatic like a laser and collecting the emission. We do optical metrology, so we characterize optics. We do reflectance, so bouncing light off of different materials. Thin film quantification, so we can measure the thickness of a coating on a window or on a semiconductor material or on optics. We do something called Raman spectroscopy, which is very exciting, and that uses a laser to vibrate molecules, and we measure the emission of those compounds. They create emissions based on the excitation wavelength, and those emissions are like a fingerprint to identify unknown materials. We do near-infrared spectroscopy, UV vis spectroscopy. We use lasers to do laser-induced breakdown spectroscopy, optical emission spectroscopy, plasma emissions, etc. So there's all kinds of ways that we work with spectrometers. Here's an example of one. It's called the Black Comet. It's basically on the left, you'll see in the person's hand, that's the optical bench. So for this one, there's just a concave grating that the light bounces off of before it hits the detector. It's a really cool spectrometer. Here's a blue wave. On the right, you'll see, let's see if you move your video over if you're seeing people's faces. But this is a more complicated optical bench. It has two mirrors and a grating, and before it hits the detector array. But it makes a slimmer spectrometer. And then third, we use InGaAs, indium gallium arsenide. And these detectors allow you to collect light at longer wavelengths, so near infrared light. So often you'll have accessories. So you might have a lamp and a probe, and you bounce light off of a sample, and then you collect it into the spectrometer. And, you know, moving forward, what Stellarnet's trying to focus on is using math, advanced math, to create models to predict things and solve problems that are not just linear phenomena. And so with that, we've been focusing on industrial applications in agriculture, nutraceutical, pharmaceutical, and those types of spaces, so that a farmer can determine how much protein, moisture, fat, and fiber is in their crop, or a law enforcement officer can identify an unknown powder. And so here's an example of a handheld layout where someone would read the reflectance of, it looks like this was corn, and we can measure the protein, fat, moisture, and fiber content. So moving on, we also do like a technician mode of it. So you could hand it to someone who has no experience and they're able to get these meaningful values. So who are we looking for? We're always looking for software engineers, people who could represent us as a sales rep, electronics engineers, production engineers, so people who are assembling the spectrometers, optical engineers, and people for marketing. Why would you want to work for us? Well, we're pretty flexible. We have 2 shifts for production. We're in Florida. Everyone wants to live here. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's pretty nice down here. We are a small business, so if it's not very corporate here. We have a very high retention rate because I've been here for 12 years. We've been around 30 years, and a lot of our employees are day one people. Not much reason to leave here. So we always joke, if you make it past the Christmas party, you're here forever. And then we also offer competitive pay. We do vacation time, the typical things you'd expect from a business. We also, just like Sciton, we pay for your continuing education. And so, the whole goal is to make our employees happy so that they make our customers happy. So here's some job descriptions that you'll find exactly on our website. So you really don't even have to read this, but in the breakout sessions, I'll pull these up for anyone who wants to look at them. But here's a production technician description. Next, we also have soldering techs that we hire all the time. And then we are always looking for someone who can design electronics, which is a bit more to ask, but we're always looking for that. And then, of course, sales. We're always looking for people who are interested in spectroscopy and physics and the world around them and how it all interacts, and able to think about customer problems and come up with solutions using spectroscopy. And that's what I do. So let's move on. I will end my time here. Yeah, it's 3:26, so 3:45 I think would be good. Everyone take a quick bathroom break. Again, just a reminder, when you get back, you will choose a room to join. You will interact with the company representative that you are in the room with, and put your name in the chat so that they know that you were there. If you go to every single one of these companies, with the exception, Astanza, Coherent, FiberGuide, Sciton, and Stellarnet, you have to go to all 5, ask some questions, introduce yourself, and then when you're done, we'll all join back at a specific time that we'll discuss, and we will have a drawing for the vacation package, and we'll also be awarding the free Laser Pro class so that you can take that laser course and get a better feel for some laser basics that might be beneficial to you. So without further ado, let's all take a break. right, so at this point, I'm assuming people are starting to get back to their computers. So I hope you all had a nice break. We have, if you look at the way that it's broken down, we have booths, and then we have a sub booth, so that if for some reason you want more of a one-on-one, you can ask the person hosting, hey, could we do a private interview? And so that's what that secondary booth is for. So unless you're interacting with someone, you agree to go to the secondary booth, it should be empty. Okay. So booth 2A will be, well, let's take a look. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a section that says more, and there's a icon that looks like 4 squares together, kind of like a Rubik's Cube, that says breakout rooms, and it says 18. So booth 2A will be Astanza Laser with David Morell. Booth 3A will be Coherent with, I think his name was Jerry
Yes.
Fontenares.
Yes.
Then we have FiberGuide. And I'm blanking on FiberGuide's. Jabalan, yes. And then Sciton with
Caroline.
And then Stellarnet. So we have 2 through 6. The A group is the booth that you should check out. And again, for everyone who is interested in getting the free course and being eligible for it, please visit each booth, interact with the host, leave your name in the chat for the booth so that the host can see that you interacted with them, and then move on. If you don't participate with one, then you will not be able to get the Laser Pro course, and you will not be eligible for the drawing at the end. Okay. Sydney, how much time are we allocating for this? About an hour?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just encourage everyone thanks for everyone who visited the site, and thanks for Dr. Sakuda for hosting this great event. Network. That's the biggest thing that you can do as you're learning and going through these job fairs. For one position, there are about 500 applicants.
Are you serious?
Yeah, sometimes more. And unfortunately, we were not able to, reach out to every single buddy, but network, continue to keep in contact with Dr. Sydney, keep in contact, add me on LinkedIn, vice versa. You never know where you're going to cross paths with individuals.
Right. Very competitive, man.
So another recommendation, team, is if you're going to school right now, for example, I was talking to Jennifer about co-ops, internships, anything that could help you gain more industry experience. Because as an employer, it's nice to have that foundation. I remember, I'm quoting Deborah. She's like, my internship was gold.
So Sydney, everyone here is a yes for me.
Yes, same
Great.
way.
So Sciton says yes. Coherent, is it a yes or no?
The only person, oh yes, everybody's a yes.
Oh, come on, Jay.
Because no, I didn't get a chance to. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to talk to Michael, but that's okay.
Yeah.
He joined. That's okay.
I joined, but yeah.
It was
Okay,
yeah.
So it was a scheduling issue, but he showed up though.
Yes, he showed up. I saw him.
Michael, you made it.
He made
How
it.
you doing,
He made
Sydney?
it.
I'm doing good,
I'll
man.
talk to you. I'll add you on LinkedIn. We'll talk.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, perfect.
Super. So David Mirel, are we good?
Yeah, I'm a scientist, not an accountant, so it's hard to remember. Yeah, I think everyone was. Nothing stands out as an outlier.
Okay. How about Astanza David? Are we good? David Mirel, are you still there?
He might be gone.
Okay. And then FiberGuide, are we good?
I don't remember Shu Dong here. Maybe I might be wrong. I don't remember him coming over.
Zhao Dong, are you here? Of course, they have to be present to win too. Zhao Dong, are you still here?
I see his name here.
Yeah, but he's not. You gotta be present to win, though. He's not here.
Ooh.
What about the participant list?
Oh, sorry, Dr. Sidney. I have to get going.
Okay, that's fine. We'll just do the drawing. And thanks, employers. We
Thank
just
you,
work with the
Jerry.
candidates for now.
It was nice meeting you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
So okay, so we're gonna X Zhao Dong. Then we do the drawing right now. Okay, so Zhao Dong has to go. Okay, then we do the drawing right now.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, so your drawing hostess is right here, Sandra.
Okay, so everybody's names are on here. We
Hi,
verified
Sandra.
it and you checked it. Hey, how's it going?
Great. Good to see you.
Yay. Okay, so I'm going to proceed with the drawing.
Random picker.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay, oops.
Start
Okay.
final drawing now.
This one.
Okay.
Okay, let's see who's gonna win. Woo-hoo. Let's see. It's deciding. Is it gonna be you or you or you or you?
The cog is really, it's working.
Who is gonna get
Oh yeah, that
this?
drum roll.
You can
was
see the
so low.
spin.
A winner. We have a winner, Garrett Jackson.
Hey, congrats, Garrett.
Way to go,
Congratulations,
way
Garrett.
to go, Garrett. Thank you, guys.
Congrats, Garrett.
Thank you so much. Garrett, get in touch. Pack your bags. We want to send you somewhere really nice. Great. Thank you, guys. And hopefully we get some jobs while we're at it. Okay, thank you.
You might keep the breakout rooms open.
Cheers.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you all. Have a
Okay.
great weekend.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
great
guys.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Good weekend,
Again,
guys.
Thanks, Sydney.
take advantage of LinkedIn. If you felt like you connected with one of these vendors or someone else in the group, we are all a network of people, and sometimes you might find your next job just by being friends with somebody, right? So, take care, have a safe weekend, and maybe we'll see you out in the workforce.
For sure.
Okay.
Thank you very much, guys.
Let's put our hands together for our host, Miss.
Who was the winner? I got
what a
logged
show,
off
man.
there.
Oh,
Thank you
Deborah,
so much.
you were in the running, but it went to Garrett Jackson of
Oh, okay.
sunny Orlando, Florida.
Oh, Deborah, you're not here. Okay.
That's great.
We just finished it.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, guys. Thank you so much. And I hope we get, the jobs we want. And at least we've made connections. You know who the employers are. So stay in
Absolutely.
touch with them. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you. This
take
was really
care.
a good session,
you.
Sydney. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you guys.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Sydney. Thank you,
Okay.
David.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye-bye. Mhm.